The Carthage dominion had ruled the Orion Spur for millennia, their talons soaked in the blood of countless worlds. When they set their eyes upon the young colony of New Carthage, they did so with the casual arrogance of a predator plucking feathers from a bird. The colony had only just reached its third generation. Children played in gardens beneath silver skies. Farmers tilled alien soil, weaving Earth's memory into a distant world. They were not soldiers. They were not strategists. They were simply human. The Carthids arrived not with negotiations, but with fire. Their fleet darkened the heavens, scything across the atmosphere with beams that liquefied stone. Settlements crumbled. Oceans boiled. The screams of the innocent crackled across emergency channels until they were silenced by static. The few transport ships that attempted escape were swatted down like insects. And then, as if to mark their contempt, the Carthids transmitted their act across the galaxy. A proclamation of dominance. Humanity is young. Humanity is weak. Their cries are sweet. Their deaths are simple. Let the galaxy witness their fragility. Earth is nothing. Their colonies are ash. Their silence is our triumph. The stars bore witness, and in the ashes of New Carthage, billions perished. Arrogance across the stars. The Carthid warlords convened in their great chamber, talons drumming against crystal tables. To them, the destruction of New Carthage was not war, not strategy. It was theater, a spectacle to remind lesser species of their place. Messages rippled outward. The Dominion mocked humanity, dismissing Earth as a minor race of talking apes who cower behind words and treaties. Other civilizations watched with unease, whispering among themselves. Some pitied humanity. Others shook their heads, resigned to the fact that this was the order of things. The weak suffer, the strong dominate. The Carthids laughed, feasting on the memory of genocide as though it were a banquet. They sang songs of victory, clashing their armored fists together in rhythm, and they believed Earth would remain silent. After all, humanity had shown restraint before. They had spoken of peace, of diplomacy, of coexistence. They had signed treaties with weaker civilizations, defended the oppressed, yet never sought to carve out empires by force. The galaxy saw them as naive, clever with machines, stubborn in spirit, but far too civilized to unleash fury. So the Carthids celebrated, and in their celebration they dug their graves. The silence before the storm for a time. The galaxy heard nothing from Earth. No threats, no declarations of war, only silence. It was an ominous silence, not submission, not fear, but a stillness that pressed against the edges of the void. And then, in the great convocation of the Galactic Concord, as envoys from hundreds of species argued about what to do, one human delegate finally rose. He bore no weapons. His suit was plain. His face was gaunt with grief, his eyes hollow from sleepless nights. He did not scream. He did not posture. He simply leaned forward, voice breaking through the chamber's hum. Never again. The words were soft, almost fragile. Yet across the chamber, translators whispered them into 1,000 tongues. Never again. The words carried the weight of 10 billion graves. They echoed across the networks, carried through hidden channels, whispered in military command rooms. Every human who heard them knew exactly what they meant. And then, Earth's silence ended. The shattering of stillness. The first signs were subtle. Freight lanes cleared, as human shipping routes vanished from galactic commerce. Embassies locked their gates. Merchant ships disappeared into slipspace, vanishing toward Earth. Then came the mobilization. Deep scanners along the galactic arms reported titanic masses shifting in Sol. Fleets that had been hidden in orbital shipyards emerged like leviathans breaching the sea. Vessels larger than anything the Carthids imagined possible unfurled their armored wings. The Earth Defense Fleet, long thought ceremonial, defensive, revealed its true scale. Dreadnoughts, black as void, slid from dry docks. Battle platforms the size of moons powered up their drives. Armadas whispered into the dark, their engines thrumming like a heartbeat that shook the stars, and across every human channel, one phrase repeated, "Never again." The galaxy trembled. The Conquered whispered, were the humans preparing genocide? Were they truly so dangerous? The Carthids dismissed it as bluster. But then, the warnings came. Unencrypted transmissions, simple and clear, spread into Dominion space. To the Carthid Dominion, surrender your warlords. Answer for New Carthage, or we will answer for you. The Carthids laughed, broadcast their jeers across the stars. They invited humanity to try, and humanity accepted. Fire unleashed, it began at the edge of Dominion space. Listening posts on barren moons reported distortions in slipspace. By the time the warnings reached command, human fleets had already emerged. The first Carthid Defense Armada, 100 warships strong, moved to intercept. They never fired a shot. The humans did not fight ship to ship. They erased them. Lances of coherent energy ripped through armor as though it were parchment. Rail slugs the size of skyscrapers pierced war cruisers clean in half. Swarms of autonomous drones, each a weaponized intelligence, poured from human carriers like locusts, weaving destruction in silence. The Carthid fleet was annihilated in 47 seconds. Across Dominion space, the tide rolled forward. Planetary defenses shattered beneath kinetic bombardments that split continents. Cities that had once boasted of Carthid supremacy were reduced to molten scars. Human shock troops landed on occupied worlds, not to conquer, but to liberate. Clad in armor that shrugged off artillery, wielding weapons that turned fortresses to dust, they marched with ruthless precision. For every civilian spared, for every enslaved species freed, their fury deepened, and always, the message followed the fire. Never again. 6. Retribution without mercy. The Carthids had always believed themselves masters of cruelty. They flayed enemies alive, burned worlds for spectacle. But now they beheld cruelty refined into justice, vengeance forged into an unstoppable machine. Entire Dominion fleets attempted to regroup. Human dreadnoughts entered the battle space and eclipsed suns with their shadows. Their salvos split space itself, tearing apart Carthage ships as though reality resented their presence. On one battlefield above the gas giant Therax, 3 Carthid war fleets converged, nearly 1,000 ships. The humans unleashed a weapon no one had seen before. A lattice of satellites that ignited the planet's atmosphere into a roiling inferno. The Carthid fleets were consumed in the firestorm, their wreckage raining into the abyss. The galaxy watched in horror. The humans did not speak. They did not negotiate. They did not posture. They advanced, relentless, silent, save for the echo of those 2 words, never again. 7. The fall of the Dominion world after world fell. The Carthid Dominion's proud core systems, once thought impregnable, were surrounded by fire. The Dominion's warlords pleaded with their vassals for aid. None came. Their allies abandoned them, terrified that to stand with the Carthids was to invite humanity's wrath. In their desperation, the Carthids broadcast surrender offers, too late, too hollow. Human fleets descended upon the Dominion's capital. Armored soldiers stormed its citadel, tearing down banners woven for centuries. The great chamber where warlords had once laughed was reduced to rubble beneath the boots of human marines. And before the surviving Carthid leadership, humanity issued no speech, no ultimatum. Only a single recording was played. The words of the human envoy who had spoken at the Concord. Never again. The warlords were executed, their empire dissolved, their name erased from the records of liberated worlds. 8. The aftermath in silence. When the firestorm ended, the galaxy was quiet, the Dominion was gone, their fleets reduced to ash, their worlds scarred ruins. Where once they had mocked humanity, there was only silence. On liberated planets, freed species wept, some with gratitude, some with terror at the power humanity had unveiled. And across the galaxy, in the halls of governments and the shadows of black markets, whispers spread like wildfire, "Do not provoke Earth." For Earth had shown the truth. Humanity's patience was vast, its silence long, but its vengeance, when awakened, was infinite. The galaxy understood. Earth did not seek empire. Earth did not hunger for conquest. Humanity could endure insult, injury, even death. But when their patience was broken, when their silence was shattered by the words "never again," the universe itself trembled. And in the centuries to come, whenever a reckless species considered striking at humanity, elders would whisper a reminder in hushed tones. Remember New Carthage, remember the silence, and remember what followed when it ended.